Are you planning a big move and you have a cat? Well, today we have a special guest, so we're going to talk about how to prepare and how to move with your cat. So stick around as it's going to be interesting and you're going to learn a lot on how to get your cat prepared for that big move coming up. Hey everybody, it's Jared Chamberlain, and I am joined by the wonderful MP, aka Mary Paulette. How are you, Mary?
I am fantastic. How are you doing, Jared?
I am doing good. So we've done another video. We talked about dogs, and today we're talking about cats. How to move your cat well, moving with a cat. So I don't know. Maybe let's answer this question. How different are dogs and cats when it comes to making a move? Because some people might have both. So how does it differ? I don't even know how else to ask that question. How is it different?
I know, right? Totally. So dogs are really sensitive, but they just take it that level further, right?
Yeah.
And cats are not going to want to be around anything that's fast moving, chaotic, overstimulating, that type of thing. They're definitely not, they're not the animal that you let out of their kennel, right? So you keep them in there until they're settled, until everything's settled, everyone's gone, the doors are closed, all that kind of stuff, and then they can decompress and come out.
Interesting. All right. Well, let's jump right in. So how long does it take for a cat to get used to a new home, would you say?
Oh my.
Years?
So I know, right? I know. Very, very different from a dog. So they need time. And so one of the big things with cats too is their smell. So cats get turned off very, very easily if they don't like the smell of something. So like I recommended with the dogs, don't wash anything of the cats. And before you even start the move, bring the kennel out. And preferably you have a hard-sided one, and put one of their favorite blankets in there and make that a place where they can go and curl up and get them used to the kennel. On the day of the move, you put them in a quiet room. If you have a dog, then you put them together, right? But if you don't, then you put them in a place, preferably higher up. If they have a cat tree, I mean, you don't, depending on the size of the cat tree, all that kind of stuff, because you don't want to put a kennel if they're starting to walk around and then it falls over, right? No. But you do want them to be higher up, and you want them to stay in the kennel for a few hours anyway, while the move is happening. Preferably if you don't have them in the house when the move is actually happening, that's even better too.
Yeah. So again, like the dogs, if there's someone that can take them for a day or two and then... Yeah.
Or even if you have that layover, right? Because sometimes when you take a possession over a house, of a house, then you get the house before you actually have to have your possession day on your house, right? Yeah. So sometimes there's that overlap. So having them stay there is even better too. Even if the house is empty.
Before you're moving. Yeah. So let's say if you get the house on a Wednesday, you're planning the move on Friday, on Thursday, let them live at this place, let them get used to it, kind of lock them up for the day, and then come back out after it's done.
Yeah. And vice versa too, right? So if you have your current house for a little bit and there's still that layover, so you can do that too. That's a really great way to do that, especially for cats. Interesting.
So how stressful is moving for a cat? Because I think unlike a dog, they don't go out for walks. They're not like, it's a different type of personality, right? So how stressful is their whole world changing?
Literally, their whole world gets turned upside down. Right? They are creatures of habit. They like their spots. They like their smells. They like their timing, So, for example, you always know when your cat wants a treat because they'll come to you at the exact same time all the time. Right? So, and my cat, Mr. Whiskers, just magically knows when it's time for the automatic feeder to come off, and he sits there.
It just waits.
And he's like, yeah, I know it's coming. I know it's coming.
That's good.
So I know. So they're creatures of habit, right? So sorry, I got sidetracked there.
Oh yeah, but creatures of habit, so they're really like when moving is stressful, their world is changed, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. So just making sure that things are as quiet as possible. I mean, you don't want to have them on the lower level, like on ground level, I mean, with a whole bunch of people walking around them in their kennel.
Yeah.
That is just terrifying to them.
Yeah.
So the other thing with cats, and the reason why they need to be higher up is because they're prey animals, right?
Right.
And they like to be higher up. If they're lower down, they feel very vulnerable, especially in situations that are unknown and unfamiliar to them. So,
Yeah.
and
No,
stressful situations. Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. So, when a cat's getting rehomed, so that's in this changing of their environment, can cats get sad? Like, and how do you tell if a cat is sad or gets stressed out?
Yeah. So commonly when you move your cat to the new house, right, they're going to hide and just let them have that time. They'll come out because the more pressure that we put on them, the more resistance is there between them, right? And then it makes them even more scared. But if you just let them have their space and let them hide, they'll come out. They will.
Right.
And it's commonly probably at night when everybody else is sleeping. Now, if they're hiding in a spot like the furnace room, so that's the other thing. So as soon as you get into your new place, you shut those accesses off, right? So that you don't have to worry about them hiding in a furnace room and then getting up into the ductwork, et cetera, because that's just, a mess all in its own.
I don't think I've ever heard of a cat getting into the furnace ductwork and stuff. I mean, maybe you have. Yeah. Is that even possible?
Yeah. Oh, when they are scared, cats
They'll
will
find anything.
go anywhere.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So I find that a lot with the lost animals that I work with. They will squeeze themselves into anything just to get away.
Just to hide at some point.
Just to hide. Yes. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So, so I guess you kind of answered the last one, but how can you, like, is there well, I guess you haven't really, but how can you tell if a cat is stressed out? So maybe when they're hiding and you haven't seen them for days upon days, or what are some signs that maybe, we've moved into our new house and, Mr. Whiskers is really stressed out and I need to help them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So overeating is one of those things. So if they're constantly begging for food, because I know it's, the equivalent of us with emotional eating, right? So that's going to be one that's probably not your common one. So your common ones are having accidents in the house, scratching, trying to get out, hiding, and losing weight, not eating, that type of thing. Now, with the losing weight, if they're not eating at all over the few days, like that's when I would say, like, hey, at least give me a call, and then that way we can tap in and see what's really going on. And then because any type of weight loss is not good in an animal, but cats can start losing weight really quickly only after a few days of not eating. So, and then there's the other one of licking. So it's grooming, but when they start pulling their hair out, especially, they'll do that on their bellies. But you'll see excessive grooming as well. Panting is another one. So if your cat is panting, they are not hot. They are not hot. They are up here with
like
their stress.
Stress level, energy level
is through the roof. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen a cat pant before.
Yeah. Yeah. I have. Yeah. And it's very, very distressing. Yeah, very.
And so, how do you help a cat specifically if they're at that level? How do you help that animal come back to some normalcy?
So in that state, it's really about taking away all the sensations, right? So it's like sensory deprivation type thing. Yeah. So, you're taking away any stimulus that's stressful. So sound is another one. So they're going to be extremely sensitive to sound when you're moving. Lights, any fast movement as well. Fast movement will scare the crap out of a cat. So, yeah.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah.
Man, It really is a different world when it comes to working with a cat and moving them versus, having the dog and moving them. It's a very, very different game. So I'm glad that we've covered both of those. And so, I don't know, is there any other last tips for those cat owners out there that could help them that we haven't covered at all?
Yeah, I think it's just the reassurance that if your cat is hiding, and I know like for us when we see that, we're like, oh my goodness, we just need to cuddle them, we need to give them hugs.
Yeah.
And it's just like a dog where it's the toddler approach, right? It's talking
Yes.
to them and letting them know that everything's safe and for them to come out when they're ready. But the more we try and what's the word, like
Coax them out.
yeah, coax them out, it's just going to make it worse, right? So,
Well, I'm sure
and you
they
can
can
tell in their eyes.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Right? Oh, 100%. You can tell in their eyes. If their eyes are very cold, it's just like when we meet people, you know how
Yeah.
some people's eyes look very nice and warming, and then there's
Yep.
other people who you can tell when you're talking to them, but they're not even,
That's
right? They're not even
Are you
listening.
there?
Yeah. It's exactly the same. You can tell when your animal has shut you out. So
Yeah.
that's the other thing that you can look for
Interesting.
in your cats too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's interesting. Well, I appreciate this and thank you for this. And for those of you that are watching, I hope you got some great value here. And how can people get a hold of you if there is some other questions, or maybe they want help actually moving their cat or figuring out that process, or even just other things that are going on in the world? How can people reach out to you the best?
Absolutely. So you can find me on my website, and I also have a free consultation call. So
Okay.
you can book one of those. We can hop on a call. It's over Zoom, and then we can chat about what's going on. So my website's probably the best way, and also social media. So I have my Facebook page, which is Connect with Mary Paulette, and then my Instagram, which is Mary Paulette McDonough. So
Awesome. And website is marypaulette.com.
marypaulette.com. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you, and appreciate you taking your time out of today and talking about the cats of the world and how we can help them move better. And if you have any other questions or comments or stories even, throw them in the comments below. We're going to be watching it, and we'll interact and we'll help how we can. Well, I won't. MP will.
Yeah.
I don't know how to help your cat. I'm sorry. This is why she's here. So throw those in the comments, and we would definitely appreciate you watching. And that's what we have. So thank you all, and we'll see you guys on the next video.